And Mattis resigns a little after the market closed today, around 5:30, 5:45. And this is really will be remembered as a historic day, not only in the markets, but in the political realm as well. As we saw, the president refused to make a deal to keep the government open, and we saw, what else did we see? We saw the leaders who basically the situation, as I understand it, is that this wall deal is not going to go through Senate, even if they can somehow cobble a way through the House. It's not going to make it through the Senate. But markets were in meltdown today, and it kind of got to the spot where like every single bit of bad news is coming at once at us. And when you've got every single bit of bad news coming at you at once, almost anything besides that is a relief. And we did get a pretty decent rally in the markets this afternoon, and I think that has been kind of discounted by most people. But to me, it seems very significant that we got that bounce today, because basically at that time it was all bad news. We just heard from Paul Ryan, and everything seemed to be just one bad news story after another. The stuff that was going on in Capitol Hill, the fallout from the Fed decision, the all these interviews with these other people about the Fed decision, and talk of how they're going to have to lower earnings estimates for next year. All this bad news, and we kind of bounce. Let's take a look at the hourly here. Here is a low, and I don't want to be on Netflix. I want to be here on the E-minis. Let me get set up here. And if we go to the hourly, I don't like that chart. I don't know why. Let's see. Okay, so if we go to the hourly here, we see the low here of 24.41.50, and then we get this big bounce. And this was significant to me because we came way off the lows, and even with more bad news pounding us, we stayed off the lows. And Mattis resignation, we still haven't broke down from this rally of the afternoon. So this seems pretty bullish to me. Really historic day. I think we'll remember this day for a while. The VIX just kind of creeping up and over 30. Usually we see VIX spikes. This wasn't a spike. It was like it crept all day, slowly creeping up and creeping up and creeping up, which is kind of bizarre, I'd have to say, for the VIX to slowly creep like that. Now, I wasn't around for the 87 crash on the floor. I didn't start trading until I started on the floor in 94. So it was sometime after that. I did have friends that were involved in it, though, and talked about the whole thing. I know Blair Hull was involved. A lot of these people that, still are successful now were involved at that time. And but this has definitely been a historic breakdown over the last months. Month, really. It hasn't been that long. I mean, we were in highs in, October, and now it's December, and just this big whack down has been big. And people that, follow the charts, it's like, well, who knows where it's going to stop here, because we've been going straight up. It's really hard to say. And if we look at the NASDAQ, same thing. It's just kind of hard to say, where is this all going to end? But safe to say it is going to end at some point. And the people that are going to make money here are going to be the ones who sell puts here. There's fat premium to be sold if you're a put seller, and that's the person that's willing to stand up and say, I'm willing to sell some puts and protection to these people that are afraid. Those are the ones who are going to ultimately make the money here. If the government does close, it's not the end of the world. The government has closed before. I think that the Democratic leadership, although, I'm not real happy with them at all. I think that they they aren't going to go for this border wall thing, and so but like I said, the government shutdown is not the end of the world. It really isn't, and but a lot of controversy following the president announcing on Syria that we're pulling out of Syria, seemingly without having consulted everybody involved there. Declaring a victory over ISIS, which pretty much even the layman in the streets that's not really following politics would probably agree that, like, well, declaring victory, it harkens back to that George Bush moment on the battleship, declaring victory. And now I'm not trying to like harsh on the Republicans too much. Obama did way too much with the drone strikes and all this stuff, and our civil liberties as far as being spied on by the government were eroded arguably more by Obama than by the Republicans. So certainly no heroes on either side here of the political aisle as far as I'm concerned. But there's got to be opportunities here, folks. This is a historic moment, and the markets will turn at some point. If you're trying to like trade based on fundamentals of the economy and everything, the markets don't always follow that, and we will get an upside move here at some point, and there are these bargains out there. So my suggestion to people, I don't usually make suggestions to people, my suggestion would be to at least nibble a little bit, buy a little something here. If you've got 100% of your money, if it's 100% in cash right now, at least buy something. How much if you're wrong, you can buy more going lower, but I wouldn't be like shorting at the lows here. If you haven't shorted the market from up higher above, you might have missed the boat at some point. I mean, if you look at something, let's take a look at J&J here. If you haven't shorted this the whole time or been short at all, to short it right here seems very, very risky, because chances are that this could turn around a little bit at some point here, and there's got to be better opportunities out there. A lot of savvy people would say, wait till a rally. If you want to short these things, wait till we get one of those snapback rallies and then short it. But really, like I said, a historic moment. It's very strange for me because I have this show called the Short Vol Show, and really short volatility is probably about the worst position you could have had on over the last month. But the show isn't really about just having a position of being short volatility. It's about analyzing market conditions, learning about volatility, and learning all about the markets, and I'm trying to teach people with some of my experience. I am a very experienced trader, having been a market maker at the SIBO from 1995 through 2002, and also traded at the Board of Trade. And so, this channel has really thrived, even though it being called the Short Vol Show. We're all about analyzing market conditions, figuring out what's going on, having some people to talk to about the market and to bounce stuff off of. A lot of people that I met on StockTwits were were good traders, but they had to figure out everything by themselves. They didn't really have a lot of people to bounce ideas off of. And finding like-minded people and being able to talk about the market in a a more intimate way with people, and just having a different opinion that's different from just that CNBC, which is always kind of like rooting for the market all the time, and it's just one opinion. Having channels to watch like mine and like a lot of other ones is a good thing. What I've tried to do is be one of these people who is not trying to sit there and sell you something or be some kind of guru saying that, like, oh, I figured it all out and you can try to figure it out if you pay me all this money, and I'm going to put these signals up and I'm making all this money and you're not, and this kind of thing. No, what I've tried to do is the opposite, to explain to you that a professional trader is not that much far off from a retail person, and that we don't know what's going to happen any better than anybody else does, and all this bravado and stuff. is misplaced. Also, I'm here to tell you that professional traders don't have every winning trade. This fake stuff that so many people put up online about this ego stuff about how they're so much smarter than you, and is just it's a defensive measure of people. Anybody who's traded for a while knows that every trader is going to have losses, and some traders are going to have losses that go on for a period of time. I'm not afraid to come up and say that I was wrong in a trade. I'm not afraid to post a trade and then to watch it disintegrate in front of me. In fact, yesterday I was on the live stream with like 56 people, and I had just said that I was short UVXY, and I watched it go from 66 all the way up to like 73 in my face. And you know what? It's good for people to experience that, because that is the trading world, folks. Trading world is getting your head ripped off sometimes. And so many people who are online try to paint this picture that they are so in control and they never lose and they somehow know what's going to happen ahead of time. And that's not what it's really like trading. What's really like trading is sometimes you can feel it, trying to make your best guesses on things, make good risk rewards, try to gain access to information. And you do need to win more than you lose to stay in business, but it's about managing your risk. And it's about teaching people what they need to be looking at, how to have to focus in on things without having blinders on, how to set up a watch list of stocks to watch, of indices to watch, how to keep abreast of news and fundamentals, and how to learn about the industry that different stocks are in and become an expert in whatever issues you're trading. I principally trade UVXY and VIX products, but the kind of techniques that I employ with VIX products and the kind of option strategies that I employ can be applied to lots of different other stocks, and the kind of things that I think about can be applied to other issues. The other thing that I try to explain to people about trading is you have your own unique personality, and you getting to know yourself. So much of trading is learning to discipline yourself and learning to know yourself and learning to become mechanical in the way you operate. Everybody has their own style, and you have to develop a trading strategy and a way of trading that goes along with your own personality and your own style, and you have to mesh that in to make money at the same time. And that's a challenge that can become a lifelong challenge for people. But I appreciate everybody coming along with the ride along on the ride with me lately, and like I said, I'm trying to show you and bring you along with me on this trading adventure. And it's not at all about me being so far above anyone else or anything like that. It's trying to just explain the experience and what's going through my head, and to join you and to make you realize that the world of professional trading is not that far away from the reality of everybody else in the world. It's just learning some basic ways of thinking about things, and the professional trader is just as fallible as anybody else. It's just that you learn to discipline yourself in a certain way and look at things in a certain way and cut your losses and that sort of thing. So really awesome to have you around with me, and it's been great meeting all these people. At some point there's going to be there's opportunity out there, and this market is not going to go down forever. And so don't get caught on the upswing, because there is going to be an upswing at some point soon. It's been a historic sell-off, but I'd love to see you make money on the way down and then once again on the way up. Not that I'm anticipating it's just going to rip straight up again, but there are opportunities here to buy stuff and hold it for long term. Certainly better now to buy something like an Apple, or, I don't know, name your big stock or your big index. Certainly a better opportunity to buy it now than it was a month ago for the long-term investor. If you've managed to get into cash somehow in the last month, I would consider, nibbling at buying some of these issues now, because they may go lower, but at some point they're going to go back up again. And if you've avoided this 20% down move, then you're in good shape to catch the snapback. We talk so much about how so much of the market rallying was coming back from these down moves. Well, if you happen to avoid the down moves, then you can jump in now, or as if we move a little bit lower, slightly lower. But I would start nibbling at least at something at some point. I try to remain politically neutral because I think that 50% of America can't be wrong. Half of America can't be complete idiots, and the other half are complete geniuses, and that's what ultra polarized members of each party would tell you, and it's just not the case. Both leadership of both parties could do better. They each have certain points on their side, and but anyways, I'm not going to talk anymore about politics because I'm just going to get people mad at me. So stopping that right now. We'll have to see where leadership in this market comes from, but this is a historic time, an exciting time to be in, and I'm glad that you're here with me. Thanks for watching, and we're going to see what happens tomorrow morning. I'm watching the market very closely. It's 1 in the morning right now, and I guess just to go to bed so that I can wake up tomorrow for the open. Anyways, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the morning. Let's see what happens next.